And education gives us the knowledge
and skills
for a fulfilling life.
We will live in a world where all girls and all women have equal opportunities
to thrive
and be powerful
and safe.
We cannot succeed if half the world is head down.
We will live in a world
where all people can get clean water
and proper toilets
at home, at school, and at work.
We will live in a world where there is sustainable energy for everyone.
Heat, light,
and power for the whole planet.
Without destroying the planet.
We'll live in a world where economies prosper.
A new wealth
leads to decent jobs
for everyone.
And we will live in a world where our industry,
our infrastructure,
and our best innovations
are not just used to make money, but to make all our lives better.
We will live in a world
where prejudices and extremes of inequality
are defeated
inside our countries
and between different countries.
Where people live in cities and communities
that are safe, progressive,
and support everyone who lives there.
Where we replace
what we consume. Planet where we put back what we take out of the earth.
We live in a world that is decisively rolling back from climate change.
Where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas.
We'll restore and protect
life on land.
The forests,
animals,
the earth itself.
With peace between and inside countries.
Where all governments are open.
And answer to us for what they do at home and abroad.
And the justice rules.
With everyone equal before the law.
Where all countries and we their people
work together
in partnerships of all kinds
to make these goals a reality
for everyone, everywhere.
These are the United Nations global goals
for sustainable development.
Let's get to work.
Let's make it happen.
Before the law. Countries, we their people
work together.
Partnerships of all kinds to make these goals a reality.
Embraces the Paris Climate Agreement as the core of its
sustainable development.
Hello, everyone. Good morning to you all. How are you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, partners, and most importantly, our incredible Cohort 8 SDG advocates. I'm so happy to be your host for this opening ceremony. My name is Ifunanya Juliet Oti, and I am a programs associate in SDSN Youth Nigeria. I'm so excited to see Patrick Paul Walsh. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in early. Thank you. I see you all on the, just a sec, so I can recognize our guest. Thank you, our participants. We're so sorry for that delay. You know how these things are. These gadgets fail you at the last minute. So please do bear with us. But without further ado, I want to make welcome once again everyone on the Cohort 8 participants. I also want to welcome our esteemed guest, our country coordinator. I can see Karen Beth. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining. So I think it's easier for me to have you switch on your video. Okay, I can see Professor Odiaka. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining. Yeah, so this is today is more than just, it's actually a very big day. This is the Cohort 8 of the SDG Advocacy program. We've been running this this is like the eighth cohort in this year. So it's not an easy journey. We keep getting better. And I'm so happy to I'm so excited to congratulate everyone who made it this far. It's not easy. We had a lot of people, we had a lot of registrations, people who applied, over 11,000, I believe, and you all made it. It's not easy. Your hard work has brought you here. So while we're here now, I'm going to be we have a lineup of speakers. I've called most of their names, but you get to hear more about them in the course of, you're going to hear more about them, see their bio, and know why you need to listen to them in the course of this opening ceremony session. So I'm going to be welcoming our very first speaker for today's session. I'm going to be welcoming our very first speaker for today's session in the person of our network coordinator, Oluwatoyin Odulano. I'm going to be reading her bio now and welcome her on stage. Yes, for the welcome address. So Oluwatoyin Odulano is a geographer and a sustainable development advocate, passionate about using maps, research, and storytelling to drive youth-led impact. Her work sits at the intersection of community mapping, sustainable development, and youth-led impact, using tools like OpenStreetMap, participatory research, and data storytelling to amplify voices and inform decision-making. She has contributed to several mapping projects to support humanitarian efforts, also coordinated youth programs, and advanced the SDGs across grassroots spaces. Her leadership experience spans several impactful youth and development-focused organizations, including SDSN Youth Nigeria, Team Plasticone, Youth Mappers UNILAC Chapter, and other notable collaborative initiatives. Through these roles, she has consistently demonstrated the ability to lead cross-functional teams, coordinate complex projects, and deliver results that align with organizational goals. Please make welcome our very able coordinator. I'm going to be looking at the comments to see you all. I do not know the number of persons that have joined in, but just give me a sec while we make welcome Oluwatoyin Odulano. Please, I want you to give her a sound of applause on the comments. You could use words, you could use your hands, anything at all that you're able to use on the comments. Thank you so much, ma'am Oluwatoyin. You're most welcome. You have the stage now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Naya. Thank you for the warm welcome. Yes, a good morning to all of everyone watching us from everywhere. We are super excited to have you join in today. And we must say thank you for honoring the invitation and being a part of this great event. Good morning, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, partners, and most importantly, our passionate participants. It is with great pleasure and a deep sense of purpose that I welcome you to the opening ceremony of the SDGs Advocate Program, Cohort 8. And as a network, we are continually inspired by the power of young people to drive meaningful change. Today is not just marking a beginning, it's also the start of a journey. And the interesting thing is that this journey will challenge you, but as well equip you and position you as advocates for sustainable development within your communities and beyond. And I must say that through this program, you're stepping forward. You're stepping forward as a generation that is committed to turning the SDGs into a reality. And over this course of this cohort, you will gain knowledge, you will gain capacity, you'll develop skills that helps you translate ideas into impact. So we encourage you all to please fully engage as much as you can, ask questions, collaborate, take ownership of your learning experience. And it's important to note that you're not just coming in as participants, but as advocates that even long after this program, the impact will still be felt on a long term. So as we officially begin this journey, I encourage you all to stay inspired, to stay committed, and remember that every action you take contributes to a more sustainable world. Once again, welcome to the SDGs Advocate Program Cohort 8, and congratulations once again. Thank you. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that warm speech. Please, a hand of applause for her once again. I hope you're all excited already. Please, I want to see you use the comments. We have about 25 participants on here, as I see on the chat. Oh, we have about 202 watching now. I'm so happy. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. So let's give a round of applause for Toyin once again. Thank you so much for that speech, ma'am. So we're going to be, sorry, just to say, I'm having a bit of technical issues on here. Okay, so right about now, we're going to be welcoming the second speaker on stage in the person of, okay, so sorry guys. My gadget is acting up. Okay. Okay. So sorry about that breaking transmission. So right about now, we're going to be welcoming our second speaker, that is in the person of our country director SDSN Nigeria, Professor Ngozi Odiaka. Professor N.I. Ngozi Odiaka, FHSN, is a distinguished academic and sustainability leader with extensive experience in crop production, seed systems, and sustainable development. She is based at the Horticultural Unit Seed Production in the Department of Crop Production, College of Agronomy, University of Agriculture, where her work focuses on advancing agricultural productivity and resilience through research and capacity building. Beyond academia, Professor Odiaka plays a significant leadership role in driving sustainable development initiative in Nigeria. She serves as the country director of the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network, Nigeria, UNSDSN, Nigeria, where she provides strategic direction for national efforts towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. She also holds the position of Zonal Coordinator for the North Central Region under SDSN Youth Nigeria, supporting regional coordination and youth engagement. In addition, she's Sustainable Development Desk Officer, SDDO, at the Federal University of Agriculture, Makurdi, where she promotes institutional alignment with sustainability principles and SDG-focused programming. Professor Odiaka is also a member of the Board of Trustees of the Sustainability Support Forum, contributing to governance and advocacy for sustainable development practices. Please make welcome our country coordinator, SDSN Nigeria, Professor Ngozi Odiaka. You have the stage now, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, moderator. I hope I'm audible. If I am, I'll continue. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You're audible, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. So happy to see you all, particularly Patrick Walsh. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you so much. Distinguished guests, partners from the academia, the civil society, and also the private sector, my colleagues from the SDSN Youth, and also the Center for Sustainable Development, CESDEF, the director, and most importantly, our Cohort 8 advocates. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. It is a profound honor to welcome you all to the opening ceremony of the 2026 SDGs Advocate Program. Today, we are not just launching a training cohort, we are igniting a movement of 21st century leaders who refuse to accept the status quo of our nation. Why our nation and why now? As we stand here in 2026, Nigeria remains a land of immense paradox. We are a nation of over 235 million people, the largest, I think, in Africa, but we are blessed with unparalleled resources. Yet, we continue to grapple with the complexities of poverty, with climate degradation, and also infrastructure deficits. The 2030 agenda is no longer a distant deadline. I hope we all know that. It is a fast approaching reality. For Nigeria to meet these goals, we cannot rely on policy papers alone. We need human capital. We need a generation that possesses the knowledge, the values, and attitudes to build resilience. Currently, too many of our youths remain unaware of their pivotal role in this global framework. But this program is designed to bridge that gap. The Sustainable Development Solution Network that was launched by the former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon in 2012, as we have heard earlier, has always been about solutions. So here in Nigeria, hosted at the University of Ibadan, that is SDG since 2013, to be precise, we have actually pioneered the domestication of these global goals. So through the SDSN Youth, we believe very strongly that young people are not just future leaders, you are the innovative architects of tomorrow. I hope that rings a bell in your head. So to our advocates, you are entering a rigorous 4-month journey, which is designed to really transform your passion into measurable impacts. The first phase is the learning. You will definitely undergo intensive masterclasses and self-paced courses via the SDG Academy. This is where you build your intellectual muscle. Secondly, leading. You will lead the SDG. You will move from theory, that's from your learning in the classroom, to designing, creating practical projects that addresses the real community needs. And thirdly, you are going to also have the work, living it out. And that comes the flagship, SDGs on the streets. So you're going to have SDGs on the street initiatives. This is where the magic happens. Cleaning up drives, tree plantings, and grassroots advocacy in your local neighborhoods. So by joining this program, my dear cohorts, cohort 8 in particular, you are gaining more than just a certificate. You are gaining membership into a lifetime network. You are gaining membership into a lifetime network of change makers. And that's what we believe you're going to be. You're gaining the skills to be able to manage projects, to be able to influence policy, and to lead with empathy. I charge you to be present. The challenges our country faces, from the FCT to the 36 states, sincerely require your creativity and your grill. Our mission is clear, and it is to ensure every primary school, every household, and every community in Nigeria is equipped to respond to the challenges of this century. I want to thank the project team, and I thank the youth coordinator and her team very sincerely. I also want to appreciate our facilitators who will be with us, and to also appreciate the University of Ibadan for their unwavering support at all times through SESDEF. To the advocates, note this: the world is watching, and Nigeria is waiting. let us translate these goals from the halls of the United Nations to the streets of our communities. I hereby declare the 2026 SDGs Advocate Program Cohort 8 officially open. And I want to say thank you, God bless you, and let us get to work. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Odiaka. I can see the comments buzzing. You know, people are following. We have 468 individuals on here. Thank you so much, ma'am. What I took from your speech is simply that we cannot rely on policy papers alone. The fact that we need individuals like the young advocates on this program, you know, to drive meaningful change. And our creativity is also needed, right? So this is all you need. This is all the motivation you need to get ready for this program, right? This is all you need to get ready for every single thing that you're going to immerse yourself in this program. Thank you so much, ma'am. So we're going to be moving next to, we're going to move into the next speaker. That is our very own network manager, previously the network coordinator, but currently the network manager of SDSN Nigeria, in the person of Emmanuel Ola Olowoyo. Emmanuel Ola Olowoyo is a development catalyst, an esteemed scholar in sustainable development practice, hailing from Nigeria. As the network coordinator of the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network, Nigeria, Emmanuel plays a pivotal role in steering the nation towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. He specializes in formulating developmental policies and programs, conducting multidisciplinary research and projects that will elevate global problems like endemic poverty, malnutrition, inequality, unemployment, and underdevelopment. Emmanuel has been instrumental in the establishment of several impactful projects across African countries, including Tech 4 SDGs, African SDGs Mentorship Program, SDGs Advocates Program, Climate Actors Accelerator Program, and several others. His research interests spanned across critical domains such as education for sustainable development, circular economy, green economy, climate solutions, renewable energy, and digital technology. As a purpose-driven social entrepreneur, Emmanuel's achievements in project management, sustainability, leadership, innovation, and program development are hallmark records of his commitment to effecting positive change. Beyond his contributions to research and development, Emmanuel's proficiency as a business consultant and media expert shines through as he devises transformational business models and captivating visual content, propelling businesses towards growth and sustainability. Please make welcome Emmanuel Ola Olowoyo. You're welcome, sir. You have the stage now. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hello, Mr. Emmanuel. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Okay, I think Mr. Emmanuel could be having a technical issue. Let me confirm this and get back to us. But please, you can use the comment section to share what you've learned so far from our other speakers. Engage yourselves. I'll just get back to us shortly. Thank you.
93 governments have said this is important, this is urgent, this is the shared direction we need to take, that we do our best to understand what will really be needed for the success of meeting these 17 SDGs and the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement. Stay tuned, that's what we're going to analyze next. And they became, therefore, the framework of cooperation for the period to 2030. We have Agenda 2030 as the broad framework. We have the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the 169 targets. Now, these goals were adopted by acclamation on September 25th, 2015. And just a few weeks after that,
Okay. All right. So while we wait for Mr. Emmanuel to join us, we're supposed to be taking the opening remark from our Deputy Network Coordinator. Because I would like to see your hands, like, oh, you could hear me properly on the comments. Okay. All right. So I'm not seeing our reactions. Can you hear me very well? All right. Sounds good.
Yes, we can.
All right, sounds good. All right, so I'm so sorry I think Mr. Emmanuel is having network issues. We're supposed to take the opening remark from our Deputy Network Coordinator, Ujolua Oluwatobiloba, but he is not present at the moment. So we're going to be taking the testimonial. A testimonial, of course, we do this usually, it's like a custom where we have our opening ceremonies, we have participants from the previous cohorts come on to share their testimonials with us, like the reasons why this is the right place to be, right? So we're going to be taking the first testimonial. This will be taken by Iku Joseph. He is SDG Advocacy Program. He's an advocate from the last cohort 7. So Joseph, if you can hear me, please, I'd like you to unmute your mic and show your video as you speak to us. Hi, Joseph. Are you here? Okay, so I think a lot of us on here, it's a lot from our end. We're going to take Joseph after we've taken our goodwill message, right? So we're going to move ahead. All right, so the next speaker on the list is Professor Patrick Paul Walsh. He is the director of the SDG Academy. Professor Patrick Paul Walsh is a Vice President of Education and Director of the SDG Academy at the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network, SDSN. He is on the secondment from University College Dublin, where he is a full professor of International Development Studies and Director of the Center for Sustainable Development Studies in UCD Dublin. He received a PhD in economics from the London School of Economics and Political Science. He has held academic positions in Trinity College Dublin, KU, Leuven, Harvard University, and Columbia University. He has also held positions in the United Nations, European Commission, IMF, and World Bank. His current focus is on sustainable development education that is informed by science, practice, and policy. Let's make welcome Professor Patrick Paul Walsh. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. Please come on stage as you take your goodwill message. Hello, Prof. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi everyone. So it's always a joy to be here. And yeah, it's always a joy to be here. So you've introduced me very nicely. I think any of those achievements is largely due to the fact that I'm quite old, and I'm sure each and every one of you, particularly all the people on the YouTube streaming and on the new cohort on the SDG Advocate program, their futures they have huge agency over the future that they want as well. And I wish them every success in this program and obviously into the future. I just want to say, so it was great to listen to Professor Odiaki. So she's a real leader in SDSN. And just to say, SDSN Nigeria and SDSN Youth Nigeria, you're one of the first of the kind of powerful networks and chapters, or country chapters in SDSN. So you may not know that history, but back in 2012, when Jeffrey Sachs was a special advisor to Ban Ki-moon, they launched what's called the Future We Want in Rio +20. And that it was going to be 3 years of consultation on what would replace the Millennium Development Goals, which we now know as the Sustainable Development Goals. But there was a feeling, there was a lot of work programs for governments, intergovernmental and also non-governmental work programs. But there was a feeling by Jeffrey Sachs and Amina Mohammed at the time, and Ban Ki-moon, that there should be some academic and legal oversight over the recommendations that are coming from the consultation processes. And actually, the birth of SDSN was a mandate to do a synthesis report for the Secretary General, which summarized all the recommendations coming from governmental and non-governmental sources. And of course, this was finalized in November 2014, and that went to an Irish ambassador, Ambassador Donoghue, and a Kenyan ambassador, Ambassador Kamau, and there was 9 months of intergovernmental negotiations with consultation from the major groups to produce what's called the Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. After the Paris Agreement and the SDGs, the UN 2030 Agenda was signed in September 2015, obviously SDGs, and in December in Paris, SDSN became more like a think tank into the Secretary General's area, where Amina Mohammed now, also from Nigeria, who's the Deputy Secretary General, and in a sense, we report into her as a think tank. And our mission is to help, to help implement the SDGs at all levels of governance. So it doesn't matter whether you're in a community or an NGO or in a school or in a university or a local authority or in a country or region or globally. The idea is that SDSN is here to help partnerships led by government implement the SDGs, the biodiversity framework, and the Paris Agreement. So in today's world, we have, in 2026, we have more than 2,000 members. Let's call them knowledge institutions, mainly universities. But just to say, again, we have about 60 country chapters. But Nigeria was one of the first and still one of the most successful members of SDSN. So it's a real joy to be here, and it's a real joy to celebrate the Advocates program and obviously welcome all the new cohorts and wish them every success as well. So I just want to explain a little bit about the work of SDSN, which you probably know. So I've explained the network. The policy work or the data, so you might see what's called the SDG dashboard. This is where countries are ranked on their performance on SDG achievement across the 169 targets. And that's produced annually, called the Sustainable Development Report, or the SDG dashboard. That's mainly done in the Paris office. And also they do things like the happiness report, which came out last week, which ranks countries on who's the happiest country. So a lot of that data analysis and pathway analysis is done in Paris. the SDG Academy, which I'm responsible for, the education division, is based in 3 offices. So the Kuala Lumpur office does what we call the MOOCs, or the courses that are free on edX, which you might have a look at. So there's 60 courses there on all aspects of the SDGs. But also there's a library where we put all the videos up. You were seeing a few at the beginning, but we've about 2 million minutes of views. And the great thing about that library is you can just download the MP4 and you can actually edit it and repurpose it. So it's a Creative Commons license, and you can use it in your community teaching or on your websites or wherever you want to use. And stock material on the SDGs is not easy to get. So it's a really nice resource for everyone to use. So Kuala Lumpur look after that type of content. In the Paris office, we've started a thing called professional training. Just because something's free doesn't mean it's used. So it has to be put into programs like this, but also we put it into programs in government offices, like in the Prime Minister's office in UAE, in their Government Exchange Experience program, for example, or the Irish government creates content for secondary school teachers to be trained on the SDGs and a pathway to a master's. So they get some credit offsets in a master's, pathway to a master's. So the professional training elements are actually done in the Paris office. And a lot of the events and advocacy stuff, particularly into the UN, is actually done in the New York office. So that gives you a sense of the demarcation. I will share these slides with everyone after the talk. So I've just gone into detail on what the SDG Academy does. So just to give a little bit of a setting, where we are at the moment is in 2026 is that impact for the future, which I'll talk about in a second. They've already described the pathway to the next post-2030 agenda. So here we are again. I talked about 2012 and now we're here in coming up to 2027 when we're going to be 3 years out. And what they're saying impact for the future is that the HLPF, or the High Level Political Forum, the UN body that reviews progress on the SDGs across nation states and stakeholders every year in July, but it also is under the auspices of the General Assembly every 4 years. So in 2027, under the General Assembly, which is leaders of countries, they will kickstart the process for saying, well, what will happen post-2030? Will we more or less keep the SDGs? Will we reform them, aggregate them, expand them? These are all conversations that are happening post-2030. We'll have a new Secretary General in a few months, and we'll have a new impetus for what sort of framework we'll have. In the run-up, in the last few years, when Guterres came in, and particularly in 2021, he did feel that the SDGs were not being achieved across the world. And normally when you come to UN meetings, and even to meetings like this, we all kind of go, let's be positive, let's design the future we want, let's be idealistic. But starting quite recently, or back to 21, the current Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, started to emphasize the pathways we're on that we have to avoid. And he talked about 4 dystopian threats, which we're all very aware of, which is we do obviously have runaway climate change, runaway biodiversity loss. We have pollution in the air that we have to deal with. We're dealing with pandemics like COVID and others that are coming at us. We do have inequality and growing inequality, in particularly with AI and digital transformations. It provides opportunity, but it's also creating potentially a divide again. We are seeing pockets of poverty and conflict everywhere breaking out, which is disappointing. And of course, the geopolitics at the moment and cybersecurity is gone a little wild, to say the least. But humanity going down these 4, it doesn't have to go down these the pathways, because actually we all know how to design the future we want, because we all sat down and agreed on the Sustainable Development Goals. We have the Paris climate agreement. We have the renewed, over the last few years, renewed the biodiversity framework, the Come in Montreal framework, and we even have a declaration on refugees and migration. So all of these are how governments can work together in a multilateral way to actually create peace and prosperity for everyone, particularly future generations, and everyone in this generation has to work towards that. So the way I look at things is, I know not everyone here likes football, for example, or likes sport, but you know, sometimes you see teams winning and you see all the glory goes to the people who scored the goals or who win the final. But actually the reason why they won was somewhere along the way, there were rough times where people fought very hard when things were going against them. So in a sense, with the reform of the UN, the defunding of the UN, looking for a new Secretary General, you know, putting pressure on the 2030 agenda, putting pressure on us to come up with a reformed agenda. This is the moment not to pull away. This is the moment to actually perform. This is the moment to step up, because 80% of the world, and particularly young people, want peace and sustainable development, and they want to leave a world behind for future generations that is not just as good as what we have, but is better than what we have. So I think this is our moment to get stuck in and to make sure we stay on the pitch and we basically stay in the game, and then future generations hopefully can celebrate victory on these frameworks. I just want to talk about which could be useful for your coordinate, or for your coordinators as when you're teaching this cohort, right? So the framework that's kind of guiding the meetings of the UN at the moment is called Pact for the Future, right? So in some ways, this was the last consensus document that actually came. This is the last consensus document that was agreed. And with the Trump administration, it's not likely we'll get another consensus document. But this document has three components. One is how you implement the SDGs up to 2030 with 55 action plans, which is very good. It talks about UN reform, like reform of the Security Council and the veto, etc. And also how other organizations can reform, like the IMF and the World Bank, and even universities are other entities that can be more interoperable with this agenda. So it talks about governance reform, but not just within the UN, but also within the stakeholders of the UN, or the ones they interact with. It also talks about the future, post-2030 agenda. And most importantly, it does have two annexes. Annex 1 is the Digital Global Compact. It's the first intergovernmental agreement on how we work with emerging technologies like AI. So that's becoming an important document. And it also has a very important document on the Declaration of Future Generations, setting up an advisory council and to the Secretary General and a youth office, which again is good for youth that are in this program, because not only can you work with SDSN youth, but it gives us a stronger kind of pathway into influencing what's happening in the UN agendas as well. I have done a free course. It's an overlay course. So from the Global Classroom, I have lectures from Jeffrey Sachs and everyone. What I do is I go through the chapters of the Pact for the Future and the World Social Summit, and I actually try and give the best sort of academic and policy knowledge in other lectures or other, say, YouTube or public lectures. But what I tried to do is to say, well, here are the policy documents, resources that fed into the Pact for the Future. Here's the academic and policy analysis of this. And then this is what was agreed, and this were the outcome documents. But that would give you a good sense that when you're doing your projects at a local committee, in a local community, you might just have a look at how you'd map it, not just to the SDGs, but map it to the 55 action plans of Pact for the Future. And why you would do this is that when we had Financing for Sustainable Development conference, our meeting in Seville last year, and we had the World Social Summit, another General Assembly meeting, they didn't have an outcome document. What they had was actually a series of initiatives, which I'll show you in a second, that are mapped into the Pact for the Future action plans. So that's just a nice way to be kind of coherent, if you like, with what's happening in the UN at the moment. So it's definitely the SDGs and it's definitely the 2015 agreement, but there's been a bit of a consolidation of that in Pact for the Future with a way of giving us 55 action plans. And it also gave us a little bit more to think about reform, to think about post-2030, to think about the digital revolution and youth revolutions that are basically happening, or transformations that are happening. Before I kind of give you these documents, I just want to give you, if there's something I've learned from, let's call it youth empowerment. The wonderful thing, of course, about Africa at the moment is the number of young people under the age of 21. But in a sense, Africa can be, you know, the next greatest thing. You know, like China did remarkable transformations in '78, but Africa can even do better, but it has to empower its young people. They're the best resource, but once they need to be empowered to actually make those transformations. But just one maybe piece of advice or a lesson, or things that I've observed in Annex 2 of the Pact for the Future, Declaration of Future Generations, it does talk about obviously recognizing youth as agents of change, and that there's no doubt about that. But the thing I want to emphasize to you is intergenerational dialogue, right? And what I mean by this is that if you are anywhere in the world and you see people who do brilliant at chess or sport, or they do brilliant in science, and they're young people, you can be 100% assured that there's older people behind them. There's teachers, there's family, there's grandparents, there's basically older people who are basically supported and facilitated. And that's how they achieve so much through school or through their life, right? Whether as a footballer or whether as a scientist, etc., right? And this is also important when you're engaging in policy or engaging to implement the SDGs. You've got to look to see, is there an older mentor? Is there people in government or older people in university? And universities are great places, obviously, for exchange between young and old, because they're designed that way between the lecturers and students. But to me, and it was even said in the 2030 agenda in paragraph 54, this is what we're trying to do here, is that the current generation, which includes young and old, have to work together for future generations that don't even exist yet. So it's so important that youth can be very smart, they can be drivers and innovative, but they do need to not to reject older people. They actually have to do the opposite. They have to embrace the help of older people and mentors, and to look for that help, right? So it's whether the knowledge to apply for things, to work for things, to get positions, to get the right skills. So I would encourage people to embrace the idea of intergenerational cooperation and dialogue, which means young and old working together. And even in Principle 4 of the Declaration on Future Generations, and it talks again about intergeneration solidarity and dialogue, and actually the foundation for the prosperity of future generations that doesn't exist yet can be, say, in the role of families it talks about. But if you think about a family unit or a community unit, it looks after the dependents, the young people, the old people, but there's a lot of investments in education, in livelihoods, and hopefully in care for nature and the environment, so that in 10, 20, 30 years, you can actually see big benefits for the family members. And in a sense, that embraces this kind of concept that I'm telling you about, or hopefully just to sell, is this idea of intergenerational solidarity. So this is to work with older people to get the best out of your potential, and to get make the best decisions in terms of what you invest in and what you apply to and where you go. I think it's very important to talk to older people, because 80% of older people are very nice and very generous to younger people. There's two aspects of Declaration to the Future that I just come back to. One is to watch out for the new entry points in member states, like in Nigeria in particular, for youth to have a presence, whether in local government or in the bureaucratic side of government, or the parliamentary side or the legal side. And it's just, the SDG project is very much about stakeholders and working together with government to make and to scale up change. The second issue is, which you're doing in this cohort or in this program, is investing in human capital. And it's so important that, you know, whether it's preschool or K-12 or university or labor force, or whether you have a job, that everyone, particularly with digital transformation, that everyone has to keep reinvesting in their human capital. So this upskilling and reskilling is going to be very important. And that's why I'm going to tell you about an initiative, particularly with open data and open education resources, that really tries to make sure with the digital revolution that everyone can go to school, everyone can upskill and reskill and get a master's as easy as possible, because this is actually very important for the youth to have that sort of skill, to close those skill gaps and to get that type of accreditation, and not to be just in a small group of people, but it has to be in a much larger bunch of people, much more coverage right across the different cohorts of the population, but particularly the young cohorts, that they should they have to be in school, and whether it's online and it has to be, or in person, or whether it has to be accredited, and those skills have to be mobile and recognized. So very quickly, just to point out, in terms of the UN itself, and it could be different, obviously, in the African Union, and it could be different in Nigeria, there are entry points for people with knowledge and ideas to get involved. So whether it's in the high-level political forum, or what's called the STI forum, Science, Technology, Innovation Forum, what's called the Technology Facilitation Mechanism, or in the Sustainable Development Report, which is the key science policy interface, or the national, what's called the voluntary national reviews of governments, which Nigeria has done, or the local national reviews. They're always looking for young people. They're always looking for inputs and young people of good ideas, and you should maybe look to them. I'm not going to go into these in detail, but you can follow them up. But for example, what the technology facilitation mechanism is, there's an online platform for 2030 Connect. And there's a lot of what's called intellectual property that is not under patent. There's a lot of partnerships and ideas, and you can find one in Nigeria or in partnerships close to Nigeria that are already there, and you can contact, or you can use their ideas, or you can transfer their ideas into Nigeria, for example. So it's worth going in to see who's registered and what sort of SDG projects or innovation is there on this online platform, because they're purposely looking to transfer innovations and ideas from other countries into another country. So obviously that could happen two ways, of course. They could transfer your idea into other countries, and then you could transfer them back into Nigeria, for example. If you're interested in finance or funding for sustainable development, coming out of Seville, there's 130 high impact initiatives addressing the action plans of Pact for the Future. And again, you can get a sense of the partnerships in finance that are trying to get money and investment into projects for the SDGs, even local projects for the SDGs. And it also is work going on that platform, just looking at the partnerships, seeing are they in your locality, and maybe contacting them to say you'd like to help or you're interested in that particular initiative. So these are supposed to be very large scale and high impact initiatives. So that's my first point, was on, yes, do your project, your community, you'll know the SDGs, but maybe just have a look at your local government, or your actual, your regional government, or maybe the African Union, or maybe the UN itself. See, could you feed that project and that result into those entry points, which I've just described, because that I think could enhance you going forward. Secondly, in terms of my pet project, because I'm obviously looking after education, is the whole idea of having open education resources. So this is the idea that when you're in a university, and if you were in a university, you might use Moodle or Brightspace or Canvas or one of these what's called learning management, LMSs, learning management systems. But the idea is that people have syllabus, PowerPoint slides, they have homeworks, they have videos, and they put them together in a course. They're digital objects, and they could be licensed, and they could be packaged as an open education resource or a toolkit, right? And in a lot of ways, you're getting that here in this program because the Academy use a lot of the resources of the Academy, where open education resource with Creative Commons licenses. But this could be done more broadly. And we also, at the World Open OER Congress in Dubai in 2024, we updated this and we brought in a Dubai declaration on how you use AI and emerging technologies to do this. So in a sense, if you've open education resources, you know where to put them into public libraries, you know how to accredit them and license them, and you train teachers, there is no reason why even people in refugee camps or people in outer space or wherever you are in the world, you should be getting access to education and accredited education. And this is going to be really important for Africa, particularly to empower all the young people under 21, is that they really do have that little pathway in education, particularly up to master's level, to be capable of driving sustainable development in peace, not just in Nigeria, but obviously in the African Union and beyond. We are to watch out. SDSN is putting together a consortium of online masters. One I run in University College Dublin, but there's going to be one in the University Dar es Salaam, University of West Indies, Sunway University, maybe Qatar University. And the idea is that for a low cost, we're going to try and give the professional skills and this required to implement the SDGs at that type of master's level. So obviously doing this advocates program gives you a nice little background, but then maybe think about the pathways into a master's or doing a master's to actually get to that professional level that gets you maybe into government or the UN or into local government and into a corporate, to be a leader that can actually be a driver of change towards achieving the SDGs. Okay, so I'll stop here and I'm happy to chat with you or take questions. And again, I am more than honored and it's great joy to be here. I always enjoy going back to 2012, very good with University of Ibadan, etc. Very good relationships, friendships with SDSN Nigeria and obviously SDSN Youth in Nigeria. And thank you for the invitation today.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for such an incredible session. That was a lot of information. We have I can see the participants on the comments, they are very engaged. One of the things that you said that really resonates with me is that, that's something, I mean, of course, I do love football. And rough times would happen, right? It's happening within the UN, but then we actually have to keep going. So this is what I'm taking with me out of this session.
Sure.
I know you see the link. Prof said he's going to share the slides. So I'm hoping that we're going to get that and share with our participants, and you could register for the Shape the Future, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Course, yes. So thank you so much, Prof. Walsh, for your incredible session. So I want to take I know you want to take questions. But since you're still here with us, we're going to just or do you have any questions for Prof? I mean, the comments is there. So let's have you, if you have questions, just drop it there while we go through the next, we'll go to the next agenda. We're going to probably have Prof answer to any of them before maybe his closing speech before we end today's session, right? So send your questions on the comments, then I'll get to that later. Thank you so much, Prof. Walsh, once again.
Yeah.
All right, so now next on our agenda is we're going to be taking Joseph now, the participants. Joseph Iku is a participant from SDG Advocacy Program, Cohort 7. So he finished from the program and he has something to say to all of us here. Joseph, I believe you're on here now, so you can come on board and speak.
Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone.
Yes,
Can you
Joseph,
hear
good
me?
day. We can hear you. Just go ahead. Thank you.
My name is Iku Joseph. I'm very honored to stand before you as an alumni of Cohort. These are SDSG Advocate Program, UNSDSN. So let me just start with a simple question. How many of us truly believe we can create change? Not someday, but right now. That's with that we already have. That is actually the question I am giving to every one of us today. How many of us really want to create change? Not just someday, but right now, because change begins with you immediately. Before I join, let me just share a brief information before I joined the program. Before I joined the program as of last year, I had a passion about my community, and I cared so much about my community, and I wanted to make an impact, but I don't know how. So then SDSN came on board. But if I'm being honest, my approach was not actually structured. I had ideas, so many things to do. Don't know how to actually fix them into meaningful or measurable impact in the society. And then this is when the Cohort 7 advocacy program came on board, and that program actually made a difference for me. And this the SDS Advocate program didn't just teach me teaching concepts in terms of attending classes, master class, and the rest. It shaped how I think about how to impact change. It helped me understand that change is not just about intentions. It's not about strategy or consistency or alignment with what we see in global trends or what we see in the continental trend. It's about one of the most impactable parts of one's life. When I actually joined it actually impacts like actually participating in real life initiatives, real life outreach program where I did a school program as well as other SDG program in my community and my local government. This is about up to 3 to 4 local governments then. So it's not just about the activities, it's about what have you left after you've gone? What impact have you made? That is what is the real essence of the program. It's not just to train you or do a program, it's how did you impact a change? Did you impact a change in that community you went to? Did you impact a change? So it's actually a great program. It took not just the activities alone. It took there were real opportunities to connect with people. I was able to connect with people, understand people's need, my community, and contribute to solution that matters in my community. Though this experience, I begin to see how local actions, like taking local, that's grassroots actions, can connect to global needs. I saw the reason of actually tackling SDG 4, which is education, seeing how global SDG goals can actually affect in our grassroots community. So we support education, and then I did the SDG, that's quality education. So we support quality education in our community, by advancing quality education, where we create exclusive opportunities, we are addressing reducing inequalities, we strengthen communities, and we also contribute to sustainable development service in our rural areas. So beyond all these activities, something deeper actually changed in me, which I'm here before you. I begin to understand what it really means to be a change maker. Let's get that right. What does it really mean for us to be a change maker? A change maker is not just someone who waits for perfect condition. You don't have to wait for the finance. You don't have to wait for, oh, let my community do this so I will help them. You don't have to wait for such situations. A change maker is someone who takes that responsibility, someone who sees a problem and say, oh, and just act on it, even in small ways. That is why this message came in, and I will say this message is to each and every one of the cohort 8 advocates. Change begins with me and you. There is no one coming to save us. It actually begins with me and you. If we don't act now, we can't act later. So change begins with you by educating our younger generation for a sustainable development. That is the actual goal. So it sounds simple, but it's very powerful. Many times we wait for funding, we wait for recognition, we wait for somebody else to lead us. But this program is here to teach you the real impacts that you should stop waiting and start acting now. So I realized that even the smallest effort, when even the smallest
Joseph, yes, let's wrap it up. We have really less time. Yeah. Thank you so much.
how small ripple effects in your community can turn into real life change. So I'll urge everyone for Cohort 7 and I challenge you, do not go through this program passively. Do not just attend the sections and complete. Instead, engage, ask questions, collaborate with your team members, and step out of your comfort zone because the value is highly educative and it will actually build your career. Thank you so much. And don't underestimate. Remember, one last message, change does not begin somewhere far away. It begins here, it begins now, and it begins with me, and it begins with me and you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joseph, for motivating us. I believe that everybody on the core, is highly encouraged, right? And your last words with them, change begins with us as young people, is what they carried with them to this program. Thank you once again, Joseph. All right, without further ado, I'll be welcoming our very last speaker, our very last keynote speaker, Karen Betts. She's a senior policy manager, data equity and inclusion, global partnerships for sustainable development data. So I'll be reading Karen Betts' bio now. Karen Betts leads the global partnerships policy and programs work. In particular, she's responsible for advancing work on data equity and inclusion through initiatives like the Inclusive Data Charter and the Collaborative on Citizen Data. Karen has spent over 12 years working in international development, and before joining the Global Partnership, led technical analysis at Development Initiative Africa Office. Let's make welcome our last keynote speaker, Karen Betts. You're welcome, ma'am. You have the floor now.
Thank you so much, and it's a real pleasure to be joining all of you at this time. I send warm sunny greetings from Nairobi, Kenya, where I'm based, and it's a real pleasure to be talking to you today, and congratulations to the cohort number 8. Well, being the last speaker also means that all the important things I wanted to say have been said, so I apologize, some might be repeated, but I think it's important to repeat for emphasis. When I was preparing for this, keynote, I had a story, and then when I listened to the other speakers, now I have 2 stories. So I'll just start with 2 quick stories, and then I'll share some insights for the new cohort. When Professor Paul was talking about, weaving in the SDGs into academia or into, master's courses, it reminded me that I'm actually a beneficiary of that, because that was the moment back at the University of Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, that I got exposed to the Sustainable Development Goals, and it got me really interested in the agenda. So I'm a living testimony of why exposing students in university to the SDGs and sustainable development in general is important. The second story takes me back to my advocacy days, and where it was really difficult to do advocacy in a country in Africa. And this was when I was working on budget advocacy and domestic resource mobilization. And back then, in order for us to, influence government or persuade government into allocating resources well, we had to make sense of the data that was in huge volumes of budget books, and that we needed to buy first from government and then type in the numbers and then make sense. And typing in meant converting over thousands of pages of hard copy books into spreadsheets. So those were difficult advocacy days, but I think they were really powerful in terms of us appreciating the value of an informed citizen and a citizen who is aware and can participate in the process of decision making and using data to back up the argument. And I think this almost translates to what the advocates, the SDG advocates, will interact with in their work, in that you'll get in touch or work with communities around sustainable development goals, and you want to make sure you're leaving the communities in a better place, but also yourself finding that inspiration and purpose for which for the work that you're doing. So the Global Partnership, the organization I represent, was established again around the same time as the SDGs in 2015, and was really a mechanism to work with different stakeholders to champion the data revolution and to bring the data revolution to life. So I sort of always see the Global Partnership and the SDSN as close cousins or close relatives in terms of the purpose and the agenda and the importance of working together in sustainable development. So for the new cohorts, I want to share with you about 4 or 5 things, and I call them the don't forgets, the things you shouldn't forget as you go into your advocacy work at the grassroots and at the community level. So I'll start with the first one that you should not forget. Don't forget that communities know what affects them, and they know the challenges that they face. So as you design your projects, don't take a parachute approach. A parachute approach is you sort of bring up a solution to a community and they have no clue how you decided that's the solution that they need. So, don't forget that they know, consult with them, co-create the solutions together, understand the challenges from that perspective. And that's where you'll see real community buy-in, community interest, and community movements to your work. Take inclusive approaches, as I mentioned, use co-creation, make sure that there's representation, even as you co-create, make sure you have mechanisms to feedback with the communities. So don't ask once and disappear. Ask more than once. Give back, give feedback, find solutions, and get the solutions with the community. The second one is don't forget that communities find purpose in initiatives that meet their needs. And I think that builds on the first point, that communities know where it pitches most, and therefore they find purpose where you're finding solutions with them to address their needs. So don't forget that they have, they will find purpose, and you'll see that movement or that change within the community when they find that exact point and that exact moment there. You're sort of hitting the sweet spot of their needs and you're addressing their challenges. The third, don't forget that communities are the biggest influencers or messengers to the political class. Once you've done your work, once you've done, you have your results, don't go alone to the policymakers, go with the communities. They're the most persuasive and they're most passionate about the issue. And honestly, they have lots of influence to the political class, the politicians that they elected. So don't forget to take your communities with you when you start having policy and political dialogues on the issues that you're working on. And your role as an advocate is really a steward and a facilitator to help them get organized or, to coalesce around the agenda. So that's your role. Let them speak for themselves. You can prepare as a community the key messages and the key issues that you want to take to the policymakers, but don't leave them behind. And the fourth one is don't forget the data. Once you have built, once you're building your project, really find the data that backs up your agenda. I think it's really powerful when an advocate is also a data enthusiast. So don't forget the data. And I think from the work that we've done, sometimes the data does not exist in official mechanisms, but some communities have collected that data, or you can work with the communities to collect the data that you need. And this is what we call citizen data. And with citizen data, the process of collecting is also empowering to the communities, and then the process of analyzing and making meaning of the findings and the data is also really, really empowering. So, don't forget the data, and if you don't get the data from official sources, you can have citizen data initiatives and use data that comes from civil society and community groups. I think just reflecting as I finish on Professor Paul's comments around now more than ever, your work is really important as community groups and grassroots advocates, because with the geopolitics going on, you've seen how the world can come down in one click of a button. And therefore, we want the movements, the evidence on the importance of the 2030 agenda and shaping the post-2030 agenda to be really built from the ground up. And I think you as advocates, SDG advocates, are the best messengers of giving us a sense of what's happening on the ground. What are we hearing? What are the signals from the ground that we need to pay attention to at the global space? And I think Nigeria, with its population size and of course ability to influence, is really in a good space to do that. And I think not just for Nigeria, but the entire SPSN network is going to find value in the work that you do. And I think also just that intergenerational dialogue that has been mentioned. Don't think about representation. It's youth-led, yes, but you want to make sure that you're also gaining wisdom and influence and contribution from young children and from older people, men and women, the same. With those few remarks, I wish to end my keynote, just to wish you all the best and to congratulate you once again for making it to this cohort, and looking forward to celebrating with you your achievements and amplifying your achievements with the rest of the world. Thank you so much, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that insightful keynote speech. It's really wonderful to hear you, vociferate things that I hear often, like what we shouldn't forget. These are the 5 points I've jotted down, and I know I'm stealing these points from you or the participants, but I'm taking it into my own life as well, right? In our daily endeavors, we shouldn't forget, especially with problems, like especially when you're going to carry out your project, you think, oh, I want to solve this problem. Well, you need to know what the community needs, because what you want to solve might not exactly be what their challenges are. So it's good to conduct an M&E and just know exactly, like just carry the community with you. That's what I gained from this keynote address. Carry the community with you in every single step. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing. We're going to be having a little bit of icebreaker. I know that we've consumed a lot of information. So this is like the quiz time where we have you, respond to a question that we'll be sharing. When I think we're going to have a QR code displayed on the screen, and you then get to answer the question, right? And I can see your responses from on here. I'll just pick maybe three three catchy comments I read to everybody here. So this is what we'll be doing now. So the technical team, are we ready? Are we ready to get to our quiz? Yeah, but while we wait for the technical team to share their screen, I want to see your comments on the live chat. How are you feeling? Is this what you expected? What's this, what has the session been like for you? I just need to see you. I just need to see your comments, right? I've got to read them all. Are you feeling or happy? What's your mood like right now? It's also part of the icebreaker. Are you ready for this program? Are you ready? Are you ready to go all in? Oh, wonderful. I can see your comments. Thank you. Yes. Yes, carry the community with you. Thank you so much for engaging. All right, we have the... Okay, I thought I saw this on the screen now. I thought I saw the QR code on the screen now. Okay, so we have it now. So are you ready? I know, I don't know, I think with this is able to take 50 participants. So we're not, our goal is not to have everybody join. So the fastest fingers, right? Just scan the code, you'll see a question on there. I want you to just share honestly. Yes, share honestly. And let's read out the maybe top two because of time. I'll just read out the top two comments to everyone. If you've done that, I'd like to see you send on the chat. Yeah, I see it's very educative. I also agree. I see you're all excited to be here. I'm also very happy, that you're excited because there's a lot to come. All right, so please let me know if you've, okay, we have 31 joined. Let's get to 50 quickly and we would get started. All right. Yeah, so yeah, this is a Mentimeter, this is a Mentimeter app, right? So I believe while you're logging in, you should go to that website. I think it's there, it's showing there. So if you have challenges with that, just letting you know that it's Mentimeter. Just a sec while I help us go live. All right, I'm still here with us. Let me know if you're ready. I want you to type it on the comments. Just type, I'm ready. Yay, I'm ready. Okay. Wait, are you able to see the question? Can I see us comment on the comment? Are you able to see the question already? Because I want to get comments on if we're able to see the questions now. Yeah, so people are asking, how do I get the link? You're asking, how do I get the link? It's on the screen. You could scan the QR code on the screen. I'm waiting for you. You could scan this QR code on the screen to join, right? So there's also a code there. Just use the link Mentimeter. So people who've joined, please help others type the name of this software on there. Okay, ready 100%. All right, we're about to go now. Okay. So can you see the questions now? Can you see it's just one question? If you've logged in, let me know if you can see the question. You haven't seen the question. Okay. Please, if you've seen the question, let me know so I know if it's a challenge on their end. Have you seen the question now? Are you in now? Because it's live. Please let me know. Okay, sounds good. Submitted. Sounds good. I can't wait to read your, just briefly anyways. So let's see who the lucky individuals are. Okay, so do let me know if I'm watching both on the comments and also like transitioning to hit on here to see to read your responses. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing the responses here. Okay. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing the responses here. I've not seen any responses here, but I think what we can do, just because of time, let's just move to, I think what we can do, because it's just one question. So if you've read that question, can I just have you type your responses on the comment so we move quickly? It's just one question, right? So let's have you, whatever you've typed, whatever you read, I want you to, that shows that you participated, right? So it gives you that edge. So I want to have you. Okay. Oh, okay. I've seen your responses now. All right. Wow. Number 4, 11, 31 number. Wow. Okay. Wow. So the numbers are here already. Thank you so much, the technical team, for resolving this. So I can see your responses now. Okay. Number 2 is the answer. Oh, we're having a hanging thread there. How many phases does the SDGs cohort program? Oh, wow. We just have 11 people. Wow, get that right. Okay. Okay, so on to the next question. You're all typing the questions on the comment section, but I think you should be able to see that on the screen now, right? or I don't know if it's from my end, but we are still on question 6 here. Oh, question 7, which of the following? All right, let's see who. Wow. Wow, wonderful. That means we have people on the Discord channel already. This is this is evidence that most of the people who answered emails, I wonder, right? It means that you're not on the Discord channel, but if you're here, I believe you're on the Discord channel. All right, on to the next question. Oh, wow. Well done, guys. I like what I'm seeing. All right. I think this should be the next question. I don't know if the delay is from my end, but I think we are doing well so far. All right. What must every participant include in all their program submissions? People who've responded to this. Oh, sorry, I'm distracted a bit because I have to manage things on here. What their participants' ID? Oh, wonderful. Who is the person that answered a cover letter and CV? Are we giving you jobs on here? No, we are not. So the answer is B, their participant's ID, full name. Yeah, so all right. All right, the next question is on here already. According to the program toolkit, what are the 4 core values of the SDGs Advocates Program Code of Conduct? All right, let's see who gets this right. Wow, we have people. Wow, see, teamwork, leadership, impact, vision. Respect, integrity, collaboration, accountability. So that's correct. B is correct. I believe you're seeing it on your end as well. So you know how many questions you're filling and the ones you're getting. So yes, respect, integrity, collaboration, and accountability is the correct code of conduct. I know you must have read your the toolkit information's on there, so you should know this. The next question. Who are still responding? I think there's a delay here. So I don't know if I'm giving some people expo, right? And they're just, so I'm not going to be calling the answers out anymore in case there's a delay on my end. Yeah, how many sustainable development goals are there in total? So for people who couldn't join, you can actually keep typing your responses on the chat box as well to show that you're participating. Well done, guys. How many sustainable development goals are there in total? So people are typing 3. What? 21, 19. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I see people in the comments as well, giving the answer to that 17. That's correct. Well done. Okay, the next question is on now. By what year are the Sustainable Development Goals expected to be achieved globally? By what year? We're close to that year. I'm giving you expo. I see. That's fantastic. Wow, everybody's getting this right. So we are all advocates, true and true. We are really advocates. Well done. Yes, that's correct. Somebody wrote A, 2025. 25, that's last year. Anyways, the correct answer is C, 2030. You must have heard about Agenda 2030, right? So that's the correct answer. Well done. So the next question. Okay. There's a delay on my end. Which of the following behaviors is strictly prohibited under the SDGs Advocate Program Code of Conduct? Let's hear what you have to say. People are still responding, so I'm not going to say I'm not going to say the answer, so I don't give 290. Okay, 291. 181 just responded, so let's see. Oh harassment, bullying, or intimidation. You have 299 response to that. No, thank you so much. I think this is really easy. Don't you agree? Who says sharing project updates on social media is prohibited? Please share updates. We need to increase the volume of what we're doing, right? You need to share your story. So you're always allowed to share updates of what you've learned. Even for today's session, you could just share something on LinkedIn or Instagram or anywhere, tell people that this is where you're at. So yes, it's allowed. The two persons that said that's not correct. So well done, guys. I think we're on the next question now. What is the first thing a participant must do if they intend to leave their registered states during the program? This is in your terms of engagement. So people who you just signed terms of engagement and you did not read it, this is when we know. This is when you're exposed, right? So let's see your answers. Okay. Let me check the comments as well for people who are responding who couldn't join us. All right, that's correct. B, somebody said C. Your courts. All these people saying C. All these people saying C. You didn't read your terms of engagement. Okay, but we have a tutorial and 5 now responding. Okay. We're still writing 2030. Okay, I think there's a delay in most people's ends, right? So they might be seeing the wow, some people are still saying C. You people did not read your terms of engagement. Do not expose yourself. Do not do that unless the responses you're giving us is for another question since it's delayed on your end. So, well, yeah, on to the next question now. We still have people responding. Okay. If you've responded already and you're waiting, just let me know if you're finding this interesting. If you're getting your answers, do not lie. I'm getting 100 over 100. You can share on the comments. I'm like, I got all the questions, you can share on the comments as well. Well done, everyone. So I think we should get to the next question now. Okay. Oh, that's the last question. We're very proud of you. A hand of applause for yourself. Congratulations. We are here now. So this is a very it's a session that carries you, at least okay, most of the things you don't have an idea of, you want to go back to read them again because it's important that we take note of information so that we do not lose out on things, right? On activities. So thank you so much for sharing. Yes, so we're back now. All right. So the next on our agenda is we're going to be taking a record. One of our speakers couldn't make it to the session as well, in the person of Dr. Pachauri. He's the co-founder and senior mentor POP movement. And he's not here on the call, but we're going to be listening to his pre-recorded speech. So I'm going to read his bio. And so please do pay key attention as you listen to him share his keynote address. This is the last keynote address we'll be taking today. So sorry, I mentioned this is actually the last keynote address we'll be taking today. Yes, so Dr. Ash Pachauri is a global sustainability leader, public health specialist, and co-founder of the POP movement, a pioneering organization that empowers young people and communities to take meaningful climate action. Through POP, he has helped build one of the world's most dynamic youth-driven networks active across dozens of countries and thousands of institutions, mobilizing learners, educators, and change makers toward a more equitable and resilient planet. With academic training in public health, behavioral sciences, and social entrepreneurship, Dr. Pachauri works at the intersection of science, policy, and community engagement. He collaborates with governments, UN agencies, academic institutions, and global organizations to strengthen climate education, design youth leadership programs, support capacity building efforts, and promote inclusive development. A recognized speaker and mentor, he has delivered keynotes, workshops, and training programs worldwide, guiding emerging leaders to find purpose, build climate solutions, and lead with empathy, integrity, and scientific grounding. His work spans climate justice, public health, sustainability, communication, and global partnerships, with a strong focus on empowering young people to accelerate climate ambition. Please, let's clap for Dr. Ash. I know he's not here, but I believe he's going to say this. So please do clap for Dr. Ash as we play his recording now. Thank you. Please listen keenly as well. Yes, so technical team, you can. Thank you. All right. Okay, so I think there's a delay at the moment.
Several of the cohorts, including the new cohort of 2026, as part of an important education and even more importantly, action on sustainable development goals. I'd like to thank you very much for the opportunity to join you. I'm honored and I'm privileged to be part of the new cohort. I really hope for an opportunity Toby, who extended this invitation. You're somebody who stands out, who absolutely lives by example and leads by example. And, you know, I know you're based in Nigeria. Nigeria has one of the largest populations and demographic of young people, offers tremendous potential. I will request this incredible cohort that we come together with today to please consider building a model which will not only highlight and showcase the great potential that you embrace, that Nigeria embraces, but that Africa embraces and the world can learn from. This is really what we need today. And at the POP movement, I will share a little bit of a background. But before I do, I want to say at the POP movement, we have seen how leadership within Nigeria has inspired many, many, many corners of the world. And I'm only going to say to you that we do need exemplars, and we need examples, and we need models of action and leadership on the ground to showcase to the world, but to inspire action and exchange lessons. And that's really what we need. Can we address this issue that we're confronted with today? One of the most pressing challenges of our time, which is that of climate change? Yes. The answer is yes, we can address it. Yes, we are already confronting the consequences and the impacts of climate change, but we do have a window of opportunity in front of us yet. And if we seize that window, we can make it happen. Now, I also want to say at the POP movement, where POP stands for Protect Our Planet, and Toby, who's with you, is one of our young leaders and mentors at the POP movement. I invite Toby to and extend a very humble invitation myself to please join the POP movement. What we really showcase and offer are a few things. Number one, education, an understanding of the science of climate change and how that science can guide action and how that action can be participatory. In other words, we can mobilize people around the world on the ground and find critical solutions to local problems based on local leadership and local solutions. That's what participatory leadership and action is. And so I'm going to ask you to consider how we can come together as a family in Nigeria to address the most pressing challenges within Nigeria itself, and how you can play a pivotal role in leading that action and mobilizing communities in the process. So education is one of the elements, because being guided by the science is key. That's one. The second element is that we create spaces for networking, and we host what we call POP festivals. And these festivals are not only a showcasing and amplifying of voices and experiences opportunity, but also one for cross-learning, networking, and creating movements. I invite all of you to not only lead action on the ground, but also, very importantly, to mobilize, conduct events which celebrate the action you're taking, create spaces for festivals where people come together. These spaces are trusted, they're safe, people can amplify their voices, share their experiences, and network. That's where movements happen, in the coming together. And then finally, I want to say that we have opportunities for awards. These awards are those for exemplary action. And we have international festivals as well that bring young people together virtually, in hybrid spaces, in-person spaces. And every year we have awards for the most exemplary and leading actions that are making impact. So do capture the impact that you're leading with, the changes and the positive results that you have to showcase in terms of outcomes, actions, change, and also come together as part of the POP family so that we can recognize this. These are opportunities for you to not only showcase your work, magnify the impact that you're making, but through these awards, hopefully also be recognized within global spaces and international arenas where you can make a difference through exposure within spaces beyond your geographic realm. And this will allow you to showcase the models that you're implementing. If you're able to go into the UN and you're able to go into international conferences and you're able to interact with leadership around the world, you will be recognized for what you're doing, but more importantly, you'll be amplifying the voices of communities and the change that you're bringing about. So these are three important aspects, all of which you can very much be a part of. I invite all of you to please be a part of this change. And we have a window of opportunity to make the change now. So we have to seize the moment. And yes, we're able to do it. It will take leadership on the ground, and that's where you come in. And that's where your actions count, what you stand for count. Do it with values of love, do it with values of compassion, do it with values of caring. That's what really counts. We have way too much divisiveness in this world. And I won't get into what the impacts of climate change are, including, of course, wars and conflict. We're living through many of them as we speak. So I'm not going to go into that. We all know what the impacts are. And again, like I said, as part of the POP Academy, which is part of the POP movement, we have courses and education focused on climate change. I invite all of you to be a part of it. These are important courses that allow you to learn from, and be guided by. And that's what we want. Our tagline reads, "Youth inspired by knowledge," which means that we are guided by the science of climate change. Our actions must count and be guided by. So, the POP Academy offers the larger global network of people internationally. And that takes me to my final point, which is that we are also inviting applications to demonstrations of the work that you're doing will be invited to award ceremonies on the basis of powerful and is part of these to take. You're being guided by the science of climate change through education programs, action on the ground, and then the showcasing. And I invite all of you to be a part of this. I want to thank Toby once again for the great opportunity to join you. You are an important cohort of people who are leading and will continue to lead, who will shine and be recognized for what you're doing and be at the heart of making movements which alter the course of history.
All right. Yeah, so that was a wonderful speech from Dr. Ash. That was a wonderful speech from Dr. Ash. So we're going to be going straight into the info session. We're trying to wrap this up quickly because time is fast spent, right? So I'm going to be very brief on this. Thank you. So let's have the screen on. So I will follow through. Yeah, thank you so much. I can see your comments, Dr. Ash. Thank you. We had to wrap that up quickly because it's really a long speech. But yeah, thank you all so much for sharing your messages on the chat section. All right, our screen is coming up now. So we'll quickly go through the info session. This is the main info session guideline for your program, right? So yes, the next slide, please. Bit of delay on my end. All right. So congratulations once again, everyone, for making it to this place. As I mentioned earlier, it wasn't it's not an easy one, right, to make it to this program out of 11,000 or out of 5,000 actually, because we had 5,197 entries received, and we had 4,957 accepted right into the program. So congratulations once again. I want you to clap for yourself, send the clap emoji as we go through this. You can see the program overview. So this is just to give you an overview of how the whole process, what you're expecting, what you should have done, right, to ensure that you're able to go through this program seamlessly, right? Because it's not the same. Maybe you might have asked people from other cohorts, what was it like? And they tell you, oh, this is it, but it's different this year. We're ensuring to ensure that we brought out strategies and structures that will make it really easy for you and us as well, right? So here is the number of applications received, 5,197, right? That's everything. I was saying 11,000 because that's what we received at some point, but this is the total number received. And this is the number of applications that we accepted that is you into this program. So you're among the 4,957. Why this is stated as initial is because as of today on this ceremony, we do not have all of these individuals on Discord. So it means that if you haven't gone through the processes, read your toolkit, signed your terms of engagement, it is definitely going to be the reason why you're not here. Like if your friend is not here and they made it to the program. So we have less than that at the moment. And the number of male, we have 53.1%. and 46.9% of female advocates accepted into the program. Then this is the geopolitical distribution of the applications in Nigeria, right? We have the Northwest covered, the Northeast. You can see the graphs. I'm not going to be reading all of the details. We have the Southwest, we have the South-South, we have the Southeast, right? So this is how much we covered in, this is the geopolitical distribution of applications this year. All right, the next slide, please. Now, this is the program outline. We know that you should know that there are 3 phases. I believe that you answered that while we were doing the quiz, right? Some of you got it wrong. It means that you haven't even read your toolkit, but that's fine. You're here now. I hope you go back to read it. There are 3 phases. The first phase, which is what this is what we're rounding off, right? We have the second phase, focus and application. Then we have the impact and integration phase. All right. So for the first phase, we had the registration application. We've done that onboarding process. We're still on the first phase. We are going to be having the 4 master classes, and this will take you to the when you've completed this first phase, right? As you're seeing on the screen, it will go straight into the second phase, and that would be in May. Then the last phase. Then the third phase is in June, we have the last phase, which is the third phase, which is impact integration, and the last 6 master classes, certification and alumni network integration. Next slide, please. I'm trying to rush this through, so please pardon me because of time. Okay, thank you. So the first phase, I already described most of these. First phase, we have the master class. The second, we have lead and SDG phase, right? This is where you take charge. Everything that you've learned from this program, you've heard our keynote speeches. Our keynote speakers they all addressed you on things that you should look out for. I believe that you took note of that because this is the phase where you'll be needing to so this is the phase where you'll be needing to, now implement like everything you've heard today. You think about them while you try to solve these problems, right? And just take note that the masterclass, which the first phase, the masterclass starts tomorrow, right? So it's important that you are around for this masterclass because it counts for your certification, for you moving ahead on the program. It really counts, right? So going straight to the phase 3, which is the community projects phase. So when you have for the second phase, right, you've designed your project, you've done the M&E, like everything that you heard during the speeches, try to carry I think it was Ma'am Keats that mentioned that you should ensure to carry the communities along with you. So this is where you do all of these design. Then the third phase will be the phase when you now go to the community, right? And then the action plan, documentation of the activities, the pictures, we'll be following through these processes to ensure that you're able to submit all of these. Next slide, please. Okay, much of delay here. I'll just go ahead. All right, yes, thank you. So this is the timetable, right? It's very important. I believe that you have access to this already. If you do not, or you don't know where to find it, please let us know. We have the Discord group where you can ask questions and we answer, right? So this is the timetable, how everything that we've talked about, like your assessments, when you're supposed to, when you have deadlines, if you've not met deadlines, and you're able to track your progress and okay, this is where I am not making progress, and then know how to move forward. So you already have access to these, right? If you do not, please let us know. And we're going to direct it where you find it. We have the Discord group to share all of that. So I'm not going to go through the details because of time. Next slide, please. specifically on here. Okay, so we have the program checklist. So each participant is expected to complete the following to be certified. Now you can, I know you're all seeing the screen because this is where you need to pay attention. Go back and read. You have to attend all 6 master classes. That's very important. Submit attendance, right? Ensure you take your assessment in due time. That's why you have the timetable to track your progress, right? Because there might not be any makeup session, right? If the deadline is missed, right? So just ensure that you're able to follow. When you have the timetable, just plan your schedule and you're able to go through with it. Then you carry out your lead, then you have to carry out the SDG project, right? Carry out your community project or SDG projects on the streets. We have SDG on the streets, right? So in this year, it's taking a new turn. Something you should take note of, right? We want more engaged, we want more self-focused action this period. So we want to have you carry out your community project, it's everything. We're going to follow through with you while like we get to these phases, right? We're going to explain to you what is expected of you, but we want more actions, right, on your streets, on your locality. So it's not beyond, it's beyond community right now, but also on your streets. It's just helping you to take note of the problems around you. You can look far in the states, Ogun State, Lagos State, Anambra State, but what about your streets? Is there problems in your streets, like maybe dump of waste, like just plastic issues, plastic waste issues, food waste, just something, right? So we're going to have you do a project of this nature while the program is running at this particular phase. So you're going to submit a detailed and comprehensive report of activities for the lead and SDG and community projects on the street. So it's not just about your community project, but the one for on the street. You're going to submit everything. You're going to submit everything to us, right? That's part of what is going to ensure that we certify you for the program. Next slide, please. All right, so this is the Discord channel, the communications channel. Last year and other past years rather, we used WhatsApp, and we just thought about an easier way to carry on your inquiries, to carry you along through this program seamlessly. And we felt like having a new digital channel would be really lucrative, right? So we ended up on Discord, and if you can see so far, if you're already on the Discord channel, you would see that it's really seamless. The way things are organized, the sections, the announcement section, you go to announcement, know what's going on. There is an inquiry, like questions. When you have questions, you can send in your questions. So for this phase, right, the reason why most people were not, that they're not here, like we do not have number of persons that are accepted currently onboarded, which is like onboarded like you're here now, is because they've not joined the Discord. So you have to join the Discord. It's really a priority channel. Like you have to join the Discord channel to be able to continue with this program. So if you haven't, if you're here, right, maybe you through social media, you're able to join here, you're not on the Discord, please ensure that you're on the Discord. So the Discord channel will be the priority channel. That's the Discord channel would be the priority channel. That's the primary means of communication. And then the email communication will be secondary. So it means that for very quick questions, you want to ask really, so for very quick questions, you have questions like very important questions that you need to get answers to ASAP. You can use the Discord channel to ask these questions, but maybe you want to share a report, just because of professionalism, you could use the email to share comprehensive reports of, the things that you're doing just for documentation's sake, right? Not the Discord channel. So that's why it's the secondary. It's for official program announcement, deadlines, reporting instructions. So you also receive these, you also receive emails from us, and from time to time we'll be interacting with you on Discord. Then very importantly, ensure that if you're on Discord, because you know that we're very used to WhatsApp in Nigeria, that most countries are not used to WhatsApp, but Nigeria, WhatsApp is one of the primary platforms that we use for conversations and communication, right? So please ensure that you have the Discord notification turned on. So go to the app, you'll see how to turn it on. You're able to turn it on, like, so that whenever messages come in, you will see it on your phone like on your phone, like it will pop up on your phone so you can go and check what's going on. Because if you don't do that, you might really miss out on very important information. So please turn on that turn on the notification so you're able to follow through. If you have any questions, as I'm making this presentation, I want you to drop it on the sections while I could just go through it later and address any of them. So the next slide, please. Yeah, sorry, before the next slide, the complaints, right? It's written here already. So just ensure that you fill the complaint form. There's a complaint form there. If there's a complaint, we're going to go through that and get back to you. Next slide, please. We'll have a few things. So these are the SDG Advocacy Cohort's 8 rules and regulations. These are do's and don'ts. I'm not able to read through all of them, but you actually got to answer most these questions on the during the icebreaker, right? So these are, I think you already have this as well in your terms of engagement, what you shouldn't do, what you should do, do's and don'ts. Do not fabricate reports or impact data. Do not choose distant locations you cannot consistently visit. Do not use multiple emails. This can lead to automatic disqualification from the program. Do not prioritize program activities. Like, just go through your documents, right? The toolkits, go through it, read all of these so that you know when you're doing the right thing and when you're not, right? And also ensure, the master class starts tomorrow, so your presence is very, very important. Like, you have to, it's mandatory that you attend, right? And you're going to be receiving messages on the Discord. You're going to be missing out messages if you're not on the Discord, because all of our announcements are on the Discord. You might not be on social media for a long time, and then you miss out on the masterclass. So we do not just share these informations on social media. Most of them we do not. Most of the masterclasses might not come there early, but Discord is very important, so you're able to. All right, so the next slide, please. Because of time, getting note of time, just trying to capture everything, and then we are done. All right, so this is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I want to see your reactions. I'm not seeing the comments at this moment. Somebody is asking, how do I join the Discord? This is already in the email, acceptance email that you received, right? So please check them out. And for further questions, we're going to be taking this on the Discord channel. Please check your emails. You should receive that on your email. There should be a link for you to join on Discord. All right, so thank you so much for listening. Further questions we can be taken via our Discord channel, or you can send an email. So even if you're not on the Discord channel and you don't know, just send an email, right? So follow up there. So this is the Q&A session now, quickly before we close this long and beautiful masterclass. Sorry, beautiful opening ceremony, if you would agree with me, right? So this is another Q&A, right? So then before we get to the closing remarks. So let's have you, right? This is where we check. So let's have you scan the QR code as well. And this is also Mentimeter, right? So scan the QR code. Scan the QR code. Let me know if you've scanned the QR code. And if you've, yeah, so this only allows, how many did I say the last time? This allows 50 participants. The last one was actually over 50, right? So yeah, the last one is over 50 actually, because so this one is the one that carries just at least 50 people. So the fastest fingers, scan the QR code and join us. We take this. You don't know how to scan the QR code. Okay, now use the link. If you're unable to scan the QR code, kindly type Mentimeter on your Google Chrome to take you to the software. You'd see login. So use that to log in. Yes, I can see the tabs. Okay, so use that to log in, and so is the second. Okay, so I'm getting a notification that the second testimonial, the participant from last year, is here. All right, so just a sec. Let's please log in while I confirm that. Please just use the comments to let me know if you've logged in. Some people are still asking questions about the information session that we just finished. Do not worry. They just check your email and ask these questions on Discord and would respond to you, okay? So let's get to the next thing now. The login while I check if the participants is on here. Okay, so she's out again, exactly. So I got the notification that she's not here. I was supposed to take 2 testimonials, right? But the last participant from last year is not here at the moment. So we're going straight to our Q&A session. Are you ready? I can see 100 over 100. That's very good. You don't know how to scan. Okay, just type metimeter.com on your Google Chrome or your browser, any of the browser you're using. You're going to see the software displayed. Just use this code written on here to log in, right? Okay. All right. Are you logged in? Tell me that you're ready if you are. If you're ready, say, yeah, I'm ready with all bubbling emojis and 100%. Oh, some of you are using your phones to join. I understand that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is when I share this, we've all logged in, I can share the question with word of mouth. So you can use a comment to also share your responses, and that's okay. All right, so I think I hear the second test, the second person taking the testimonial is on this call now, in the name of Bwala. Jacinta Bwala. Please, if you can hear me, unmute yourself. We've been waiting for you. You've been going. I know your network might be bad, but please, if you can hear me, let me know by unmuting
Hello,
yourself.
can you hear me?
All right. Yes, I can. Please go ahead before we get into our Q&A. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am so sorry for the delay. My network was bad, but thank you so much for the opportunity to speak at this moment. I am so much grateful. To be honest, yes, SDD really taught me a lot. So I will start by saying thank you to all the team members. At first, when you asked me, when I walked into the program, actually, I don't even have a vision, honestly. It was just blurry because I have no idea what SDD is all about. I don't know what it is or what it does, but normally we do see the posters, the signs, everything, but you just go about it. But thank God to the program, I was able to get an insight of what the program is all about. I learned a lot. I get to learn a lot. I learned that the world has challenges that yet we have to address them. So I'm so much grateful. And for that, I want to say it really taught me when it comes to leadership, to see different parts of leadership. Before, I used to see leadership as being a boss. You have the loudest voice in your room and all that. Then the program taught me that true leadership is stewardship. It's about being and creating an impact, about empathy, and the courage to build bridges where others see walls. So it taught me how to be a good leader, how to make people, not just to make people follow you, but rather to live by it, to do what you're meant to do. The experience was really a great one. So I'm so much grateful actually. But now, not just that, I don't see SGD as a roadmap, but I see it as a roadmap to a world where equity isn't a dream, but a standard. I see a future where our collective intelligence, not just by one person, but it's being done generally. It's more like a teamwork. You can't do it on your own, but you can do it with people. Our ideas is what matters. Sometimes you might really have the idea of how to change the world, but you don't know how to speak about it. But this program will teach you how to speak about your idea. Maybe you're scared to say something, but you have no idea that what you are scared to say might really be of great help to change your community. So to all new members, new advocates that have been onboarding, welcome on ground. Just take your time actually to learn. Every Friday will be an opportunity. Be that person that is eager to watch out or to look out for Fridays every morning to learn, not just to be like I'm an SGD advocate. No, to learn, to make an impact in your own community. Anytime you learn something, try and reach out, even though it's to one person at home, your friend in your community. Tell them, share a story, tell them what SGD is all about. That way, together, we can make a great impact. That way, together, we can change the world to a better future of what we want. Just like the singer said, make a world a better place that you and I will live in, that for the future of everyone will live in it. So, I'm so much grateful actually. SGD has really taught me a lot. It has changed my perspective, has changed my view about so many things. I have no idea what things are or anything is in the world. I'm just in my own local place at Potisco University. I don't know anything actually, but thank God it exposed me to so many things. It exposed me to things that I don't know about. It exposed me to things in my community that not knowing that doing them will really change the community in that way. Well, so I learned a lot. I'm so much grateful to all those coming from the north. We can make a difference actually, not just not all over the country. We can make a difference. Just like it's been said in Hausa, since you're there, right? But in this aspect, since you're there, baya hana shara. But in this aspect, since you're there, na hana shara. Yes, one broom can really make a difference. One broom can really make you.
All right.
And so I'm so much grateful. Thank you so much for everything. And thank you for the opportunity to speak up, and welcome on board to all advocate members. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Thank you so much. I know that we are all motivated. So we'll just be going. I know that we're all motivated. So please, I want us to use the comment section to share our feelings, what we've heard from Bwala. What do you feel? Are you motivated? Are you encouraged? So yes, so we're going straight now to the closing remarks, and this will be made by our very own operations lead, our programs and operations lead, in the person of Faridat of AFA. Please come on board, ma'am, and please lead us in the closing remarks. Thank you. It's so nice to see you all. Yes, so take care while we have Faridat come. Bye.
Thank you, Ifunanya, for your excellent moderation and for guiding us seamlessly through today's session. As we bring this opening ceremony to a close, I would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to our distinguished speakers for taking the time to share their insights and inspire us today. Your contributions have set a powerful tone for what promises to be a transformative journey for our participants. And to our fellow amazing fellows and participants of the Cohort 8, thank you for choosing to be a part of Cohort 8 of the SDG Advocate Program. Today is not just the beginning of a training, it is the beginning of a journey of purpose, impact, and responsibility. Over the next few months, you will gain knowledge, build skills, and most importantly, you will discover your power as change makers. These sustainable development goals are not just global targets, they are local realities. And each of you has a role to play in shaping the future of your communities and our nation at large. I would like to encourage you all to stay engaged, be curious, ask questions, and take action. Don't just underestimate the impact of small, consistent efforts. Change begins with individuals who are willing to step forward, and today, that individual is you. On behalf of SDSN Youth Nigeria, I would like to officially welcome you to the SDG Advocate Program Cohort 8. We are excited to walk this journey with you and to see the incredible impact you will create. Thank you again, and I wish you a fulfilling and impactful experience. See you all tomorrow. Bye.
All right, bye everyone. Sorry that we couldn't take the Q&A. We'll do that on the Discord because of time. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody who is still on the call, as well as speakers. I can see our Oh, she's not. Okay, yes, I can see Prof. Odiaka still here. Thank you so much, ma'am, for staying through with us. I wanted to just mention that. Thank you, really. Yes, for every other person I'm not saying over here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.